Welcome back to TV5 News at 9. It's another edition of Ask the County, and joining us this morning is Saginaw County Treasurer Tim Novak. Good morning. Thank you so much for being here.
Good morning to you.
How are you doing?
Doing great today.
Okay, we're trying to get proactive when it comes to keeping these cars ready to go for the winter months. Why are you laughing at me?
Because it's like in the 30s and it's nice out. My teenage son left without a jacket this morning. So like, you know, and now they're talking, getting ready for winter.
That's why I'm saying proactive. It's not winter yet, but it will be soon enough.
Right.
So
right.
what do we need to know for the season, starting out?
So we need to know that, like, let's think ahead. Let's prepare. So what are the types of things you can do? You know, when you think about getting in your car, even before you get in your car, think about around your driveway. Do you have, you know, sand or rock salt or things like that to keep the walkways and the steps clean? Dress comfortably in layers. You don't know what you're going to run into when you're gone. We live in Michigan, right? Mm-hmm. You know, wear boots that are waterproof, things like that. That's kind of prepping you for when we get out.
Right.
Of course, always minimize your travel. And this, I think we learned during the pandemic that can we work remotely if you have that type of job, right? Mm-hmm. In those days that maybe you can stay home if inclement weather.
Figuring out what's really necessary versus,
is this a day that maybe we can do stuff at home versus running our errands even? Maybe it's that type of thing. And then, of course, tuning into your favorite local weather station. Maybe WNEM's your favorite, right?
I think Matthew would agree with that over there. What about the kits in the cars? You know, did they expire and all of that?
Yeah, so you want to make sure that, you know, would be like a yearly check of your kits in your car. So things like, you know, jumper cables, you want to make sure that they're working. They get rusted and things like that on the outside. Do you have flares that are active? An ice scraper, we had to find an extra one this year just for our own home. Cell phone chargers, blankets, I know old school maps sometimes can be helpful. Those kinds of things that are in your car, kind of this is the time of year to check them, make sure that they work. Do you need new ones? Do they need to be replaced?
Maybe get an extra one.
An extra one. Blankets are a great one. My wife likes to keep, you know, 4 blankets in the car, I think, and it's always that just in case. Yeah. If you ever run into that type of thing.
Well, when you go to the mechanic, you know, that's the thing. You say, I need a winter weather check. Should there be anything specific you're asking for, though?
Yeah, I think that I would ask for a few things like my antifreeze levels. Do I need a cool and flush? Battery, to me, is a big one. You can it takes so much more stress on the battery as the weather cools down. You know, maybe get your battery tested, your heaters, your defrosters, that kind of stuff. I think those would be like your key ones, along with your regular oil change. You can get windshield washer fluid that doesn't freeze, things like that. So when you ask your mechanic, and maybe, you know, if you're handy, you can do this stuff on your own, but those are things that you want to make sure that your car's ready. How are your tires, right? So you want to make sure you have good tread on your tires. And don't wait for the first snow to come before you find out that your tires aren't good enough.
Right, and we've already had a little bit of that, so I'm sure people are finding out if they haven't already. So if you do get, you know, stuck in the snow, if your car stalls out, you know, what should you do?
Yeah, so some things to think of, like always keep a full tank of gas. It keeps your lines from freezing. I think my dad always told me, keep the cars heavier, right? Travels in the snow better. Use good winter tires we talked about. Be careful with fallen power lines once again. If it becomes hard to control your car, pull over, you know. Take a break, kind of wait and see if something will pass. And if you do have an emergency, you know, stay off bridges and things like that.
Any other tips that I missed?
One thing is if you do get stuck, don't panic, okay? Yeah. Don't panic. Staying with your vehicle is probably the best thing to do in case help comes, unless you can visibly see that there's help out there. Yeah. Make yourself visible. Don't run your vehicle for long periods, maybe 5 to 10 minutes at a time to stay warm, but, you know, depending on the duration, you know, that's where if you had the cell phone charged up, this can eliminate some of these things. You want to make sure that you're
get the little portable cell phone chargers. That'll help
absolutely
a ton.
Something else to keep in that storage kit that we talked about on the front end. So.
All right, great tips, and always appreciate it. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you very much.
And of course, if you have questions that you would like to ask the county, just send them on in to WNEM at WNEM.com.